And down here at the bottom right-hand corner of ESC Ohana, we have our blue Zerg player from Slayers, up 2-1 in this best of 9. It is CoCa. And his opponent in the upper left-hand corner, our red Terran player, current champion of IPL Fight Club, but down in the set, it's MarineKingPrime.
Yes, indeed it is. But will the king be toppled? Will he be assassinated by our Slayers Zerg player?
I hope not. I want him to have a long reign.
Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting to have a Fight Club champion come in and like really survive for a long time. We haven't had anyone make it past 3 wins ever.
Yeah.
So if MarineKing can come back and win this series, he will tie the longest standing one. I believe it is Sheth and another Liquid player. Hero, yes. Yeah. Sheth and Hero that have won 3 weeks in a row so far. So he will be the 3rd player ever to do that, and if he wins again, he will have the longest streak ever in Fight Club history. So
he still has an uphill battle in front of him.
He does.
CoCa's looking pretty good.
Yeah. Only it looks like a downhill battle at this point because he's on the top of the map and his opponent.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, it does have that optical effect. And MarineKing not going for Command Center first this time, going for a barracks at the normal time.
And see if he goes for gas here in a second. There's 75, and there's another SUV. Okay, so we'll still be a 1-rack gasless fast expand, but getting out a couple extra Marines a little bit earlier probably is going to allow him to bypass that second barracks. We saw at the beginning of the last game that he produced a second barracks after he went Command Center first, before he double gassed into factory, and probably in response to what he saw out of CoCa, making sure he was going to stay safe against those extra lings at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, I mean, the fact is in StarCraft 2, the way it kind of goes over time is players will just try to play greedier and greedier and greedier until they can't anymore, right? So only having, 1 barracks and going for reactored Hellions, that was actually a very greedy way to play, because you were so vulnerable in the early parts of the game, and we saw Zerg players start to take advantage of that, making those early rounds of speedlings to get in there when they knew the Terran player didn't have a lot of units. So it makes sense now that we're going to have, things like this where you get a few more Marines out than you would otherwise, a few more barracks early on. I feel like the way StarCraft 2 goes, especially in Korea too, is you see kind of this tide, if you so to speak, where it comes in, everyone's playing greedy, people start to push back on it and recedes a little bit, and then people back off and it comes out. So it's kind of this ebb and flow of the metagame, and right now we're definitely at a point where I think Terran players need to think about safety first in the early game rather than how many command centers they can put down. There's only a couple builds that really work like that right now.
And it looks like CoCa once again is probably going to favor that similar sort of thing we saw in games 1 and 3. Looks like he's heading out, could be heading out here for another base in a second, but 4 queens into 3rd hatch and then double gas or quad gas afterwards is something he's favored in most of his games so far.
Yep. Overlord getting in positioning. He's ready. He's ready to dive in there and scout the base no matter what and die trying.
This is kind of interesting. MarineKing actually sending some hold position Marines so he didn't have to stop and then temporarily start, or start and then temporarily stop the next supply depot or anything like that. Wanted to reserve it for that reactor. Reactor coming up, factory behind, going into those reactored Hellions right afterwards.
Yeah, now I wonder if we're going to see him put down a bunker by his command center and stay safe like that. Some Terran players have been choosing to do it, but MarineKing not looking like he's going to go for that anytime soon, really. He's still getting gas, so it looks like we will see a starport coming down. Oh, there's a bunker. Okay, that's good. We will see a starport. What the heck? Going down pretty soon for him as well. I just got confused. That drone was like freaking me out, man.
Drone was pushing a queen.
I know. That drone like totally made me lose my train of thought. And there's a very quick 3rd. So
I'm not dealing with your crap anymore. I'm building a hatchery.
Can't blame him. So I wonder if it's going to be Banshees or if it's going to be just maybe Medevac Marine Hellion to take advantage of that 3rd base. We've seen players like Moro and Thorzane actually go for that on this map.
MarineKing, more often than not, though, whenever he does end up going into this, will tend to go towards, and we see the tag line now, the Banshees right afterwards. So, but then he has a lot of flexibility at his disposal. I would not be surprised to see some sort of a pure mech build out of MarineKing at some point during the set. He does use that from time to time to great effect. And we'll see what CoCa has in response. Looks like no gas quite yet, just producing, I believe, queens number 5 and 6 at the moment.
Yeah. And, you know, you mentioned mech, and it is another good map for mech as well. Any map where you have that secondary ramp leading into your natural expansion and a fairly safe third, you're going to be pretty good for mech, just because you need to be able to play a little bit more defensive early on if you're going to go for that factory-heavy style of play. So it's a good map for it. I'd be happy to see him try it, and Cloak Banshees plus Hellions is a fantastic way to open that.
I don't think Cloak started, though, until the Overlord was well over the Tech Lab starport, so we may see that canceled here in a bit, or at least it's a possibility. We'll see if MarineKing wants to continue powering ahead. We do know that there are double evolution chambers coming up for CoCa at the moment, so we will have Spore Crawlers ready, but Cloak Banshees still certainly have a lot of utility, even with the Spore Crawlers out right away.
Yeah, and those are the, well, there are Spore Crawlers going down right now, so it's about right. But to a certain extent, that's kind of what Terran players want. They want Zerg players to build Spore Crawlers behind their mineral lines, and then that lets them harass the front. That lets them harass the creep tumors being spread across the map. It lets them harass the queens out the front with the Hellions and the Banshees too. So CoCa, to a certain extent, maybe kind of playing into MarineKing's hands. This is a very new way of using these units that Zerg players aren't quite used to yet. So we'll have to see how he responds here.
Oh, it looks like he's trying to go after the Banshee right away. Unfortunately, Queens do take a little bit of damage. They do have enough for transfusion, so this Queen should be able to sit in there for a while. Nice transfusion does hit.
Man.
Time number 1. This Banshee sitting on just 16 hit points, but Cloak is finished.
Ooh. That was close, man. I mean, it's a good thing he had that SCV repairing that. Otherwise, that Banshee would not have survived. And, you know, like we saw, just harassing that front a lot. And now that the Queens are out of position, now he's going to go for those drones, keeping the Banshee back to go after Queens again. He gets one Queen with the Hellions. Will he get another? Oh, great transfuse right at the end there.
This is still really well coordinated by both players at the moment. MarineKing's control has been great, keeping that Banshee alive the last second and maneuvering around.
Oh, Banshee too.
There we go. Yeah, it looks like just the Barracks actually taking damage now, so he has done quite a bit of damage, but CoCa was able to mitigate quite a bit of that as well with his Queen and transfusion control, but as it stands now, this is still going to be difficult to clean up.
Yeah, MarineKing doing a very typical strategy, typical style on this map, trying to really punish that fast third base that Zerg players are so fond of taking on Ohana, and it's working okay so far. He's done a lot of damage there. Looks like he's going to get maybe another Queen. Oh, goodbye, Barracks.
Yeah, this was still a really clever way to go about it, though, and indeed we do have 2 more factories coming up now, so it looks like he is going to move into pure mech. But, I mean, these Banshees have done quite a bit there. Finally, the Queen counts are being reduced just a bit. Gets a great spot right there as well. MarineKing doing some very real damage, but just this really cute 2-3 Banshee, 6-7 Hellion, something like that, really making it work.
Yeah, I really, really do like this style of play right now in Terran versus Zerg. I really feel like the Cloak Banshee plus Hellion into mech is really the best way to respond to everything that a lot of Zergs are doing in the early game. The Queens aren't as much of a factor because you've got the Banshees there to do damage to them. You know, they have to build more spores. They don't have spores out front, so the creep doesn't really get spread. And MarineKing, you know, just got that bonus on top of everything of killing all those drones at the third and denying mining for so long, too. So that worked out about as good as it possibly could have. I think he only lost 1 Banshee that entire harassment period, too. So not bad. Nice little Zergling counterattack here from CoCa, though.
Yeah, picks off 1 mule. Could do a little bit more damage here in a second as well. Looks like the Zerglings are going to get cleaned up, but 2 mules go down. Another one was actually denied for quite a while, so that's several hundred resources of damage that were just caused by about 5 Zerglings.
And lots of factories coming now for MarineKing. He's got 2 more on the way. He's got Blue Flame, the pre-igniter upgrading, and going for double armory. All right, this is more of the 3-base style, so we'll see if he kind of gets closer to maxing out before pushing.
Yeah, a few links being pulled back for now. Fortunately, those Queens did not have a transfusion. They will have it in a bit, but they were using all of their energy on getting some creep tumors out there, which MarineKing has just promptly destroyed. Yeah,
with this style, look at this. You just cannot spread creep against what MarineKing is doing. Now, we've seen players like Evil Genius's Puma add a Raven in with this as well, which I really like, because then you don't even need to scan. You can just fly around, make sure that no creep tumors. Oh, he does have a Raven. Yeah. Okay, why didn't I see that?
I don't know. I thought you would have freaked out.
You know, it has to have Seeker Missile before I'll properly freak out.
Well, that's very true. Yes.
The fact that it's out there is great, too. I mean, he's going to want to bring that to the front fairly soon, I would imagine, so that he doesn't need to worry about scanning anymore.
As we can see, both players pretty much even in supply, though. A lot of upgrades coming up for CoCa, but of course he has had to cut a little bit moving forward now. I mean, we do have another hatchery coming up. Looks like, yeah, 4th base finally coming up. Spire Tech is just about finished as well. And looks like a few Zerglings coming back in once again. These have proven to be very effective for CoCa.
Yeah, absolutely. Not necessarily maybe killing too many SCVs yet, but they do cause him to lose some mining time. And MarineKing, now that he's seen those roaches, is starting to add on the siege tanks as well. And those are really what's going to deal well with the roaches. The upgrades are going to be great at the same time, too. And CoCa, you know, just because of all the roaches that he's trying to build, is a little bit behind on upgrades, too. He's actually going for lots of mutas. Interesting decision against mech play because of the amount of Thors that are usually out there as well. But if he does, if he is able to take advantage of the lack of mobility that MarineKing's mech army has, mutas could end up being a good choice, and he will certainly have a lot of them. You can see he's getting +1 carapace with this too, so really kind of trying to make the mutas last as long as possible.
You know, I was going to mention that because he actually did that last game around as well, decided to go for that carapace first, which is a really, really nice touch, and I think pretty undervalued against this sort of build.
You know, he's actually got enough mutas right now to kill both Thors.
Yeah.
Those Thors aren't going to be any sort of issue at all if he's able to magic box them properly. And here comes MarineKing.
Yeah, let's see if the mutas end up making their way out here in just a bit. They're still kind of hanging back at home, I believe. Yeah, that is a pretty staggering amount of mutas already. 18 with 3 more on the way. Actually, 21. There's a few more flying out here. He's going to be on 24 mutas here in just a second. We did have a reactor starport get put down, but no Vikings ever news quite yet.
Yeah, MarineKing's not really being phased by this as well. He's doing what every Terran mech player should do, and he's making a good balance of tanks and Thors. He actually is going to be up to 5 now, which will be something that will make those mutas worry a little bit about their survivability. But here we go. Magic boxing before the other Thors get here, and this is perfect timing for CoCa with these mutalisks. He is going to kill a ton.
Oh, yeah. Kills 2 of the Thors right away. Thought about, oh, it looks like actually just backing up to go ahead and take out a couple of the Marines as well.
Goodbye,
and now all
tanks.
the tanks are going to go down.
Yeah, this is a huge loss for MarineKing. MarineKing, though, with the counterattack at the 3rd base, but it's not working out, not killing hardly anything here.
Wow, CoCa is just playing so well. He's got another 10 roaches coming up now. These Banshees proving to be quite useful, like we mentioned before. But unfortunately, the Mutalisks just keep swinging in and picking off units one by one.
Yep, he's going to try to mass repair the Thors. Hope they get stuck on the Hellion. 1 Thor does go down. Is he going to be able to repair this one? Oh, it's going to be close, but no, not able to keep it alive.
Man.
And that is 4 Thors lost right now for MarineKing. That is expensive, man. And those mutas, yeah, going immediately after the tech lab. CoCa playing really well against this mech play. Oh, those mutas are kind of grouped up, though.
Oh, they really are. But they'll take a little bit of damage, but yet another Thor goes down. Finally, we do have a couple of Vikings up as well. Yeah, but now roaches are starting to stream in, and there's a 90 supply advantage for CoCa once again.
Wow, and with that Thor going down, there is just nothing that MarineKing can do to stop this. I think we're going to see a GG pretty soon here. 120 supply ahead, more roaches flying in. Great job by CoCa, great strategy, hiding those mutalisks, and then flying in before MarineKing could really take advantage of it.
Man, and MarineKing has to seriously rethink what he's doing. He's gone for 3 totally different builds over the last 3 games, so CoCa's been able to take advantage of him. In every case, there's GG, and CoCa goes up 3-1.